Today I'm going to be making something super yummy, and these are my triple dark chocolate mocha brownies. And here are the ingredients that we need. 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter, that is 6 ounces of butter, 4 eggs, 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of chocolate chips. I am using semi-sweet chocolate chips, but you can use any kind of chocolate chip that you like. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of dark chocolate, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and I'm using Dutch processed cocoa powder in this recipe. You can use regular cocoa powder if you wish. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and I'm using pure vanilla in this recipe. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. So for our first step, I have a medium-sized bowl here. I'm going to get my sieve into place, and I'm going to sift my flour and my cocoa powder. And we'll get that right into our bowl. Grab the back of a spoon and just push it through. Perfect. To that, I'm going to add in our baking powder, our salt, and our instant coffee. I'll grab a whisk and just whisk all these together. On to the next step. For our next step, we're going to melt our chocolate and our butter. And what I have here is a pot of hot water. This is gently simmering. I've got a glass bowl. I'm going to get my butter into there and all of my dark chocolate. And we're going to let that slowly start melting up all together. So what we're doing here is we're gently heating our chocolate. You never want to directly heat chocolate in a pan directly on your stove because you can burn or scorch it. This provides a really nice way, a really gentle way of heating that chocolate. So I'm going to increase my heat a little bit. You don't want the water boiling because that will create steam that will come up around your bowl and potentially go inside the bowl. So you never want to have your water actually boiling. You can see this is nicely melting. A really slow melt is exactly what I want. So I'm going to let this go for a while and I'll come back when it's completely melted. So this is about 2 minutes later, and what I've done with my spatula, I started breaking up the butter into smaller pieces just so that it would melt a little bit quicker. But you can see how beautiful this is looking. So it's really starting to come together. So I'm just going to let this go for another few minutes and I'll be back. So that looks good. All the butter has melted. Now you may be wondering, I don't want to do this setup. How do I do this? Well, instead of heating everything on this thing called a bain-marie or a double boiler, what you can do is you can melt your butter in the microwave and also microwave your chocolate. And if you're going to do that way, use the defrost mode for your chocolate. So at this point, I'm going to turn my element right off. This is done. We're going to remove it, and we are ready for our next step. So our chocolate at this point is quite hot, and I'm going to get in all of my brown sugar, and what that's going to do, it's going to drop the temperature of the chocolate. If we put in our eggs right now, we could have a chance of actually turning them into scrambled eggs, and that's something we don't want. So by adding in this mass here of sugar, it's dropping down the temperature of that chocolate mixture, the chocolate and the butter. So I'm going to break this down. And when you are measuring out brown sugar, you always want to pack it into your measuring cup, and that way you get an accurate measurement. Oh, this smells so good. So we want to make sure that all of our sugar is really well combined into the mixture. And that looks good. And then we'll add in our vanilla. And then we'll start adding in our eggs. Egg number 1. Number 2. egg number 3. And you can see right away that this whole mixture is really starting to loosen up. And we need that extra moisture because we're going to be adding in all of our dry ingredients in a few seconds. And our last egg. And then our chocolate chips. Oh, it smells so good. And then our last step, all of our dry ingredients. So I'm going to slowly get that incorporated. And my oven is set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So keep mixing until combined. And if you are doing this with a whisk, you're going to get a very good arm workout. So if you have a friend, have them help out mixing, because this is a little bit of a task. You can use an electric mixer if you wish as well, or your KitchenAid mixer. So I'll keep doing this. I'm going to be back in about 30 seconds or so. Okay, that's good. And now we are ready to pour this into our pan. So I've cleaned up and I have a nice mold here ready to go. I have lined this with parchment paper and I'll just measure this, and it is 9 inches square. And this is a Chicago metallic brand pan. Really, really good quality. So we're just going to grab all of our beautiful batter and get that right into our pan. And my oven is set to 350 degrees. I'm going to bake this for about 45 minutes. Perfect. So that looks great, just like that. So I'm going to pop this into my oven, I'll bake it off, and then I'll come back and show you the final product. Oh, this smells so good. My beautiful triple dark chocolate mocha brownies. They just came out of the oven about 15 seconds ago. Very, very hot right now. I have to let these cool down before we actually slice into them. So I'm going to let them cool down and I'll be back in a little while. Oh, that smells so good. So once our brownies have completely cooled, and these have been cooling for a couple of hours now, I'm going to remove my clips and then grab my parchment paper and give it a little pull. And there we have our beautiful brownies. Oh, and they smell so good. Alright, so let's cut into these beautiful brownies. I can't wait to taste one of these. This is a really, really nice recipe, full of chocolate. Oh, let's flip that around. And look at that. Perfect. Oh, really, really nice, fudgy. Let's just break into that. Oh, it looks so good. These are so rich, you don't even need an icing on the top. Let me just taste a little bit. Oh yeah, really, really good. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really had fun making this one. A lot of ingredients went into this, but you're going to have a really, really beautiful brownie. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you wish. I really do appreciate that. So that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Oh, so good. Yum.